Hey, this is Brian Wimmer with Health Gains Coaching, and for today's video, I wanted to talk about something a little bit different. I just wanted to do one video about the job marketplace and how it currently sucks. I saw some trend, I think it was a TikTok trend, about people posting how many jobs they've applied to and the fact that they still haven't gotten a job. And I saw this video, and people would be like, oh, I've applied to 100 jobs or 200 jobs or something like that. For me, I'm slightly held back by the number of different jobs that I've had. I've had 11 different jobs over the 13 plus years that I've worked. A few of those were about 4 months or so, or a part-time job, or a seasonal job. So that's kind of messed with me in my job hunt process, but it has never taken me so long to find a new job. I've applied to well over 1,000 different jobs. I've gotten pretty far in some interviews. I was going to be an executive assistant potentially for this one company. I got to the third interview. It was me and one other person, and unfortunately at the beginning of the interview, the C-level exec was talking about how, oh, I really like this other person. I still got to the third interview, thought I was going to get the job, maybe start making 70K. Didn't work out. One of the other fields I've been interested is becoming an RBT. Unfortunately, the barrier to entry is so high. The most likely way that you would actually get certified as an RBT is through an employer hiring you and helping you through that process. I'll quickly say I've applied to a bunch of different RBT companies. There was 2 different companies that I each had 2 interviews with that were willing to help me through the RBT process. Ultimately, they just never responded to me. And I'll honestly say maybe one other thing has held me back. I have a medical marijuana card. I am a little bit of an activist in that regard, not like a whole lot. I even posted some things on LinkedIn, so obviously a potential employer could see that and be like, oh, marijuana. Even with my medical marijuana use, I might be cocky, right? But in my opinion, I still believe that like I'm a top 10% employee. Maybe not the best, but I've always been pretty good. I show up to work, do my job, don't complain, don't get into drama with other people. I do good in sales. But thankfully, cannabis, marijuana, hemp has become so mainstream that most people don't care. Most states have it either medically legal or recreationally legal. Here in Florida, we almost passed recreational marijuana. We were so close, but unfortunately, Ron DeSantis spent taxpayer money on ads against it, which really should be illegal. I don't know how we approved you spending ads against an amendment that we're supposed to be voting on, but different story. I did a little bit of research before I started this video, and I found that 7 weed bills were actually introduced into the Florida legislature. And you can see this one here, SB 142 HB 83, is working to get protections for public employees who use medical marijuana. I don't know why that would not include private companies as well, considering it's still a medical license. At least that would be progress if that actually gets passed. Looking at my LinkedIn job section here, you could see that my jobs says 821. Now I do have a few different random jobs I was considering applying to in my list here. And then on the apply tab, I have hundreds of jobs that I've applied to just through LinkedIn. Different jobs: administrative assistant, executive assistant, business analyst, RBT, store manager, general manager, district manager, different remote jobs like customer service associate. And if you see here, I go to the second last page, page 55, and we have applied 10 months ago here. I've been applying to different jobs for 10 months. I've applied to well over 1,000 jobs, and like I still haven't gotten a job. That's beyond wild. And we'll do a little count here. You can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe 9 per page. If 9 times 55 is 500. So you can see over those 10 months, it might be more like 520 jobs, but that is just LinkedIn. And that's not jobs via LinkedIn that I've applied to on the company's website. That's not the jobs here on Indeed, where, unfortunately it only shows 99 plus. But if you look at the progress bar on the right side of the screen, I've already preloaded all the results in the applied. You can see how slowly we're going through right over here. You can see how slowly we're going through all the different jobs I've applied. And on a lot of them, you can see that I've applied, but very few people have actually even viewed, very few companies have actually even viewed my application. Going to the last one loaded, the earliest date that's at least showing right here is August 21st, 2024, which isn't even 10 months ago. I wish I could have an easier count of all the ones I've applied to, but unfortunately Indeed just doesn't show that. Besides LinkedIn, besides Indeed, I've used ZipRecruiter. I've used different remote job websites such as remote.co. I've looked at companies' websites directly and applied on there. Different jobs with city government organizations around me, with the county, or just different private employers. And like I said, I know there are some things that are holding me back as a candidate, but really I'll say there needs to be reform in the job marketplace. In my opinion, it seems like currently we have a employer, a company market, when in my opinion we should have a market that focuses on the applicants, on the employees. There's really just not a lot of accountability and transparency in the job marketplace. If we're talking about maybe like the big three such as LinkedIn, Indeed, and ZipRecruiter, which I stopped using a while ago, so many job postings don't appear to have enough information for the employees who are applying. I know some employers don't want to post their pay rate on the job posting because it's minimum wage. I don't know how that's not required. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I think that employers should be required to post a pay range on their job posting. It should show specifically what shift you are applying for or what shifts are available via that one application that you're submitting. Maybe we need a better job website, better than LinkedIn and Indeed, because there are so many fake jobs. I'm sure you might have heard the term ghost job by now. DuckDuckGo's AI chat states that a ghost job is a job posting for a position that does not actually exist or has already been filled. And unfortunately for applicants, there are just way too many ghost jobs out there and too many jobs out there that are scams. I wish I had more of the emails from the different scam jobs that I've applied to in the past. I do have like 5 different ones right here that you could see. A lot of the times when I get an email like this and I discover that it's obviously a scam, I try to go back to Indeed or LinkedIn to report the job, but pretty much like 99% of the time, I have not been able to find the employer, the job posting that I've applied to, because it was just taken down. So these scam artists appear to submit a post, get a bunch of job applicants, delete the job, and then try and scam the people. You can see for this one here, it's just a customer service representative, call center representative, data entry specialist, whatever, work from home, 35 per an hour for that kind of job, an 11:30 to 6:30. That's a pretty good shift. But you can see they want me to like download Teams and then talk to the manager. You can just kind of see that the email looks fishy. And if we go to this other one, you can see that their email is kind of weird. It's from a careers Cordelio Power at Zmail, whatever that is. And then for this one, their office administrator position remote, which I don't know how you watch over an office remotely, but it says their salary is 29. And we'll go through the next process, but I got to download Teams and do the interview. In my experience so far, every time I see an email that wants me to download Teams, WhatsApp, Signal, anything like that to talk to them, they're just trying to get you away. Something like WhatsApp would be end-to-end encrypted, so it's pretty safe for scammers messaging you on those platforms. They have some level of protection. For this email here, you can see they made a unanimous decision to extend the role of remote administrative assistant with TechWish to me at $30.56 an hour, 10 to 40 hours weekly, which is such a huge range. But I didn't even have an interview with this company. I applied, and then they sent me this email saying I got the job somehow. If anyone tells you you got the job before you even interviewed, scam. For this one here, you can see we got kind of another weird email. It says TechQ, what I guess is supposed to be access.org. And it's from a Sarah Frisbee, which could be a real name, but it kind of sounds like a fake name that somebody would use. And in the email here, you could see a bunch of typos, caps that aren't supposed to be there. And in this other one that I just got today, you can see that they're saying the position is $30.90 an hour, has all these benefits, and I just need to download Signal and talk to somebody. For one of the executive assistant positions I applied to in the past, this lady responded to me via email. She said she's out of town, she's going to be back in town soon, and when we get back in town, like we could have an in-person meeting and discuss everything more. And she was talking about how they're going to send me a check to buy office equipment that I would need to perform my work. And this lady was telling me when I got the check to let me know when I got it and then when I deposited it. This was a little bit closer to the beginning of my job search, and I was somewhat hopeful that this position would work out. Unfortunately, the check was from a business that was not the same as the company I was supposedly applying for. It was like some hair nail place in California. So I got this check and I really wanted to deposit it, but basically I found out this fake. And in talking to a banker, I found out that even if it went through, if it was fake, they would take that money from me and then also charge me that same amount. So if I deposit a check for $2,000, I have that $2,000 in my account. They take the $2,000 from me and also charge me $2,000, which didn't really make sense, but I guess that's the loophole in how these businesses can scam people. But the amount of ghost jobs, fake jobs, and scams is just absurd. I have gotten more replies from fake jobs than actual employers. A lot of the times when I apply to some organization, they don't even respond. They don't say, hey, we filled the position, or hey, sorry, we didn't select you. And I guess as evident on Indeed, a lot of the times they don't even look at the application. Applied, 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 applied. Now, obviously, job boards aren't the only way to get a job to apply to some business. Nowadays, it seems more of a common approach, and people should be able to go onto a reputable job board such as LinkedIn, Indeed, I guess ZipRecruiter as well, and they shouldn't have to worry about fake jobs. These companies really should be putting measures in place that prevent this. One, like, is it a real company? Did they give you any employer identification information when they were creating their job posting? And then also something that's really simple. Don't let them delete the job post. I have no idea why that is allowed. If the job post is deleted, then there's no way for the applicants to actually report the job as a scam. So I don't know what needs to happen to fix this. It shouldn't be so hard for somebody to find a new job. They shouldn't have to wade through scam jobs and ghost jobs. I don't know whether we have to yell at these companies, Indeed, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, etc., or if we need to demand that lawmakers put these measures, these requirements in place, such as the company actually has to identify themselves, they have to be a legitimate business, that the job boards can't allow employers to take down the jobs, and preferably putting the pay range and the shifts. Like, I shouldn't apply to a job posting that has no schedule information and they surprise me and say, oh yeah, the shift is from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. You're wasting my time, you're wasting your time. So ultimately, the job market is not as healthy as it could be, and not as employee, as applicant focused as it should be. For me, I would love to be able to make my own job board website, but unfortunately that is just not possible. I have a little bit of skills, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but I don't know that much, and I don't really have the money to hire somebody to make it or anything like that. But hopefully somebody else or one of these main job boards will just improve their platforms, or hopefully the law will change to make the job marketplace a little bit more healthy and efficient. Looking at jobs daily, applying to jobs daily, entering in the same information for pretty much every job, like here's my name, here's my number, here's my address, here's my career history. Oh, you want me to do this assessment that measures my personality to make sure I'd be a good fit? Sure, I'll do that. And then again for the next application and the next one and the next one. It's absurd that we can't just have one job board where all this information is pre-filled and we don't need to do it again. The repetitiveness in the job market is just absurd. I know there's the easy apply on LinkedIn and Indeed, and that helps out a lot when that's all that they require. But a lot of employers require more information, and the repetitiveness of it just makes it so hard for employees to find a new job. It really demotivates you when you've applied to over 1,000 jobs over 10 months and still can't find anything. Especially when you've gotten so far in other interviews and you've almost gotten a job multiple times. But ultimately, at the moment, there's nothing really I could do about that. I just have to keep doing my best to find a new job, see if I can find that Monday through Friday, 9 to 5-ish that I want. I only have a couple months to do that since I pretty much needed to leave my last job. So wish me luck in my job hunt. That'll be all for today's video. If you have any comments or if you want me to talk about another topic, then let me know in the comments below. Until next time, take care.